In the words of Philadelphia great Allen Iverson, we talking about practice. Well, sort of. We're talking about training camp. All that and more coming up next.
The following announcement has been paid for by
the ENN Podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Sports.
Can you feel it? Can you feel that excitement?
The merchandise, wearing the hats.
Chris Wild here live from Lincoln Financial.
And I'm telling you, if you let Eli Manning walk into that stadium.
Music.
Wow.
Man, again, and I hate to do this again, but these are goosebumps.
Whoa!
And more.
What's his next book going to be called? Spineless?
Mike.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the ENN Podcast. I'm professional wrestler Chris Wild, live here from bar 4133, and the time is finally here as the Philadelphia Eagles Wednesday opened up practice at training camp for the first time in 2021 and for the first time in what seemed like years, obviously, with last year's football season being like none other, for the worse, as fans didn't see anything. Press didn't see anything. It was horrible. No need to go back on that. Let's talk about what's happening right now, and let's talk about the guy that everybody is going to be focused on throughout this training camp, and that is Jalen Hurts. As of right now, QB1, even though it's not announced, for the Philadelphia Eagles, as he saw all the reps in day one and two with the first team. Now, day one, he had a bad day. And look, I'm not going to take much. Actually, through this first week, I'm not going to take much out of it because, look, it's his real first camp, if you think about it. It's his first camp with Nick Sirianni. It's his first camp in this new offense. So I don't expect these guys to come out looking crisp in an offense, in an environment that they're just now learning. And that goes for everyone. I'm still not making excuses for Jalen Hurts, but it's understandable why day one wasn't the best for him. Now in day two, that turned around as he hit a lot of different receivers. Devonta Smith and him had a highlight day with a 70-yard touchdown pass as Devonta Smith went one-on-one with new Eagle Steve Nelson and got the better of him on a perfect pass from Jalen Hurts. So the biggest question is, will Jalen Hurts stay QB1 for the Philadelphia Eagles? And he was asked in a press conference afterwards about some of the rumors and innuendos about trading for a quarterback. They're talking about Deshaun Watson, and he answered it just like he answers all of his questions, pretty much straightforward, saying he's only focused on the team and being the best quarterback he can be. He also stated that he was vaccinated, which is a big deal now. It's 90% of the Philadelphia Eagles are vaccinated, which is going to save them from possibly forfeiting games as the NFL is really starting to put their foot down with that. Now, the other guy that everyone's watching in camp is Nick Sirianni, new head coach from the Philadelphia Eagles. He had a press conference after day one, and look, he handled it, I thought, great. There was a couple questions that were a little bit hokey that he kind of danced around, but when this guy is talking about football, his excitement really attacks us, the viewer and the fan, and I say that because Nick Sirianni says that Eagle players attack everything, even sleep. Now, excitement's a big word, right? Excitement is a big word because it is what I am seeing being used to describe Eagles training camp so far. A lot of excitement in the air with a lot of the youth on the team, not just players, but this new coaching staff. And one of the older coaches is even excited, and that is probably the best coach on the team, and that's Jeff Stoutland, who is the coach of the offensive line. One of the biggest battles that we're looking forward to is Andre Dillard versus Jordan Mailata. Now, I'm a Jordan Mailata guy. I just saw what he did last year. I'm very impressed by a guy that's never played football before, coming onto this Eagle team a couple years ago and really just being put in an awkward situation last year and taking ownership of that left tackle position. Now, Andre Dillard, former first-round pick, got hurt last year, looked kind of like a bust in year one, but it doesn't mean that because he looked like a bust in year one that he is going to be a bust, and he looks different this year according to many sources. He looks a lot better, a lot more comfortable. He got the nod in day one. Now, as we look at this, we go, okay, so that means they must think of him as the starter. Apparently, it's not the way we should be thinking, because Nick Sirianni has said that he's going to switch it up. Jonathan Gannon has said that as well. He's going to switch this up throughout training camp. Now, whether you believe that or not, that's for your own opinion. But I kind of think he's telling the truth when he says that. Now, look, Jordan Mailata got day 2. Now, according to sources, Jordan Mailata looked a little bit better, stopping a bull rush from Derek Barnett on day 2. We're in day 1 on one-on-ones. Andre Dillard kind of got worked a little bit by Barnett. Now, I bring up Derek Barnett. He's part of yet another big-time battle, and that's between him and Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat saw the day 1 snaps. I'm a huge Josh Sweat guy. I think as long as he can stay healthy, and we're going to say this about a lot of Eagle players, I think as long as he can stay healthy, the kid can be an absolute stud. Derek Barnett entering a contract year, he's got a lot to prove. These guys are pretty much on even ground through day 1 and day 2. Jonathan Gannon said during his press conference on day 2 that he sees both of these guys as starters and is going to be moving guys around that defensive line throughout the game, which I definitely believe. And while we're on the defensive line, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what Jonathan Gannon said about Fletcher Cox, who had a great day 2. He said Fletcher Cox is going to be moved around on that line as well, to just get the most out of him. This guy's an absolute beast. And Jonathan Gannon's all about confusing offenses, which we also are going to talk about. Another guy that can play every position on that line and will, according to Jonathan Gannon, and that's big number 93, Milton Williams, who has also been impressive throughout the first couple days of camp. Will be interesting to see how he progresses during his rookie season. Now, where are the big concerns for me? And before I get to my biggest concern, let's talk about another guy that everybody is happy to see, and that's Devonta Smith. How could I forget the Philadelphia Eagles star rookie from this draft, as the Eagles made headlines drafting him at number 10 after trading from 6 to 12 and then up to 10 with rival Dallas Cowboys. Devonta Smith looks like he's been doing this his whole life as far as in the NFL. He does not look like a rookie. Again, having that big play to end the day with Jalen Hurts on day 2 and just catching everything his way. And I think it's the most important thing for rookie wide receivers is actually being able to catch the ball. He will make a huge difference on this team. But my biggest concern so far through 2 days of camp, and again, I mean, it's hard to really put a lot of stock into 2 days, is the wide receiver position. I believe even coming into camp that the Eagles still need a veteran wide receiver. I'm not talking about some superstar wide receiver. I'm not talking about a diva wide receiver, just a veteran wide receiver that can kind of guide these guys along. Now, Jalen Reagor is the most disappointing thing to me coming out of camp. Let's talk about injuries. You're going to have injuries every day. Brandon Brooks leaves today for precaution with a hamstring. Apparently, he's going to be okay. Greg Ward had a COVID-related illness. He was limited in day 2. Travis Fulgham has lower body tightness. Jalen Reagor failed his conditioning test and then comes out with a lower body injury. To me, again, and he was limited, I think, in day 1 and day 2. It's just very disappointing for a guy that we thought might be able to break out, and he still might be able to this year, but it's just not off to a good start. Now, I also heard that he's dealing with the murder of a childhood friend, which, I mean, look, mental health is just as, if not more important than your physical health. So I'm not going to completely bury him for that, but I hope this guy turns out to be what we all hoped he could be coming out as a first-round pick last year. I think it would be a hell of a 1-2 punch if he can live up to his potential. Again, Travis Fulgham not being there, this hurts. I think, no pun intended, Jalen Hurts, and the possible progression of Devonta Smith, because if these guys aren't available game 1, Devonta Smith's going to get double-teamed and triple-teamed possibly every single game, which you don't want to see as an Eagles fan. Now, another big name to watch for has been Zachgertz. I've done about 3 or 4 videos on this channel, it seems like. Is he with the Eagles? Is he not with the Eagles? Is he getting traded? Well, he showed up to Eagles camp with bleach blonde hair. Definitely not the look, I've accustomed to, or we're all accustomed to with Zachgertz, but hey, it's his head, right? He comes in and obviously he's coming to camp because if you don't come to camp, you get fined $50,000. I understand that, showing that he's a team player. Now, the Eagles could have just said, look, we appreciate you here. Go in the film room. We don't want you getting hurt, because if you get hurt, that trades any kind of stock we have into trading you. But he's been an active participant at camp, even staying after with Joe Flacco. And he's been seen in pictures talking long talks with Howie Roseman on day 1 and then Nick Sirianni on day 2. Now, will Zachgertz be here week 1? I still say no. I still think the Eagles are trying to show everybody that they don't mind having him and his $8.5 million cap hit on the team this year. Also, Dallas Goedert fails his conditioning test. This is another guy that has all the potential in the world but can't seem to stay healthy. So teams might be thinking, yeah, they might keep Zach, but I just don't see it. It's not the way the Eagles operate, keeping $8.5 million with Zachgertz, knowing he's not going to be there the next year. I just still seeing him going somewhere, maybe before week 1, maybe after the first preseason game. We'll see. But I wanted to make this review short, and it's ending up being really long. Day 1 and day 2 are in the books, and like I said, just a lot of excitement in the air. I feel good about this team. I feel really good about this defense, as I'll do another video about Jonathan Gannon and what he brings to this team. I'm very, very impressed through the first 2 days with him. And Nick Sirianni coming out having physical practices the first 2 days, I think really says that he's not bullshitting when he talks about competition, and that he can be a different kind of head coach than what they've had. And with that being said, guys, everybody, it's getting hotter. It's the dog days of August, or at least almost the dog days of August. So stay hydrated, stay safe, stay healthy. Go Birds, and I'll see you later.
E-A-G-L-E-S